In this episode, I am excited to welcome my friends Abby and Emylee from the podcast, The Strategy Hour. Now, this is a super popular business podcast for industries of all types, but the common theme is always around supporting women in launching and growing their business. And today we're going to chat about something super specific and special for getting your organizing business services off the ground. So make sure you take notes on this one because it's a brand new take on what organizers can do to network with their competition.
You're listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast with Jen Obermeyer. Thank you for joining in. Jen makes it her mission to broaden the horizons of savvy businesswomen in the organizing industry by instilling confidence and inspiring authenticity. She is a devoted business coach and founder of the Inspired Organizer program. Each week, you'll gain new insight into strategies designed specifically for professional organizers. And now, let's get started.
Welcome back to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. It's Jen Obermeyer, and I am super excited to welcome today my friends Abagail and Emylee from The Boss Project, formerly known as Think Creative Collective. So they just recently rebranded, and I know you guys know who they are. So Abagail and Emylee, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Well, hello. Hi. It's so great to be in your ears.
Yeah. So I guess a little bit about our business for those of you who are unfamiliar. In the kind of recent years, we've been helping small business owners from all over the world grow profitable and sustainable businesses online. And lately, we've been flipping the script a little bit and going back to our roots and really focusing on how we were able to build super successful, profitable, booked out service-based businesses. And we're teaching people to do that primarily through referrals. And I think it's not very talked about these days.
Nope.
And everyone's like, Instagram, business, online, all these strategies. And I'm like, you know what? I'll tell you exactly how I made my first $100,000, and it had nothing to do with social media.
Oh, snap.
This is an amazing topic, and I know is like healing balm for the professional organizer's soul, because now listen, I know that you guys are pretty much obsessed with organization. I don't know if you've ever thought about going into somebody else's house and doing all the organizing. It's an incredible career. It's so fulfilling, but I will tell you, it's physically exhausting. It is mentally and emotionally draining. And I always, I teach my students, like, it is hard to come home at the end of the day, a long day of organizing, and then go, oh yeah, now I've got to figure out how to market online and do social media. And, tell me more about this, magical process of maybe not having to do so much.
So I want to empathize a little bit with everyone listening, because we started out in our careers. I started out as a photographer, right? So I'd lug my camera around and work with families and pose newborns and run around parks. And so I get that physically exhausting aspect of working with your clients and then coming home and you're being drained. And like photographers, you're probably working on evenings and weekends when it fits your client's schedule the most. And that part you can't necessarily change. I know everyone's like, don't work nights and weekends. But as a type of business owner who's offering a service that works with other people's schedules, you kind of have to do what they're available for, right? So I totally get that. That's the world that I knew really well. And I think so often, if we let ourselves get down that path for too long, we start to resent those clients. We start to beat ourselves up for our business that's not growing. And we're wondering, like, why more people aren't coming in, but yet we're so tired to have more people come in. And it's just this, like, circle that is never ending. And so we created what we call the super secret double whammy referral engine system process method. You can name whatever extra words you want on there, because it is pretty incredible.
It's that good.
Yeah, it's that good. So it's really interesting because it brings two aspects from our personal careers that we had before we started our business, both leaving like the corporate world and really, really touching on like your high level inner circle of people. And then coming in with part two of creating a bomb referral system with your current and past clients. And so Abby utilized this first part of this system to a T to replace her corporate income within 30 days when she started her design business. And so what are some of the steps and strategies that you use for that?
Yeah. So I think a lot of you, your desire is to work so that you can make money, and you would like to not think as much about how you're going to get your next client. I'm just guessing. I remember. I've been there, guys. Okay. So just take my word for it. I've been in your shoes. No, I have not been a professional organizer.
No one would want me organizing anything in their house. Trust me.
They would definitely want me, and this is definitely a career I considered.
Yeah.
But no, I could not do the physically tasking. I would be like huffing and puffing. Like, it would just not be cute. Anyway, but you want clients, and you want to think less about how they're going to get to you. And especially starting out, you want to be booked as quickly as possible. And I think the easiest way to do that is by finding someone who can send you quality leads, right? That's what we want. We all just want leads. You can call them what you want. You want prospects, you want
potential clients.
It doesn't matter.
Whatever.
We're just going to call them leads for the sake of this example. You want people to come to you who are pre-qualified. Like, we're not talking about credit checks, people. We're talking about like they are ready to book and pay you for your service, right? You want that. That would be amazing. But how do you get that? And I think so often we overcomplicate the hell out of this process. We think it has to be something that requires a lot of time, energy, money, resources.
A magic funnel.
No, it doesn't. Okay. So I want you to look in your region, somewhere you can drive within a couple of hours maximum, ideally like an hour radius from your house. Okay. We're going to look in an hour radius from your house. Who is doing what you want to be doing right now and is busy? I want you to figure out other professional, if we're just talking professional organizers, we can do it. I can get specific for you. Who is organizing the kinds of clients you want to be organizing? Who is working with the kind of clientele you want to be working with? They doing like multi-day projects, or are they doing like 1 hour, come in, give some direction, and then they kind of DIY? Like, who's doing the kind of work you want to be doing, right? Okay. You can identify this person. In fact, I would guess you probably already know who this person is. And you might have put a stupid label on their forehead that says competitor. And I hate you for that, because that is not true. There is so much work to be done. And if you've seen an episode of Hoarders, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Here's probably what you're doing when you've identified this competitor. You've looked at her Instagram. You've gotten on her email list. You're looking at her blog content. You're looking in all of the wrong places.
Girl, this is not what you do. What you need to do is you need to get a meeting. You need to know this person. You need to know them so well that you are friends, so well that they will send you leads. Now here, before you're like, what? I'm going to call my competitor? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to figure out who you know in your circle that already knows her. And I'm guessing if she lives within an hour distance or less than you, that someone, your neighbor, the woman you drop your kids off with in the morning, someone from school, brownies, gymnastics, I don't care. Someone you know already knows her, right? The world is a small place. You're going to talk to that person like tomorrow, today, you're going to text them. Someone you're on like a texting friendly call basis with that knows them. You're going to say, you know what? I am starting or working on getting booked out with my professional organizing business. And I would really like to chat with so-and-so, insert name. I would love if you could connect me with them. If they're close enough to you that you see them on a regular basis, they're going to have no hesitation to reach out. Make them do the initial reach out. Make them make the connection for you. Whether that's an email, a text, a phone call, I don't care. But what needs to happen is that person needs to have you in the conversation, and they need to say, hey, I have this friend. She's getting started. She's working on getting more clientele. She'd love to get to know you.
Okay. So let me interrupt you and insert major fear right here. What if I'm a new professional organizer and I'm like, okay, this sounds easy enough, but what what do I need to have? Like, what do I need to have already done before I even reach this point? Do I need to have my website done? Do I need to have
Nothing.
my business cards? Do I need to have my logo and my business name? Wait, nothing?
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Why?
Literally nothing.
Why not?
You don't need it. It's not, the only thing you need is a warm, trusting connection. The moment you have that, you've already earned their trust from the beginning.
The thing that we're trusting that you already have is the follow through skill to do the thing that you said that you can do. So what you're enabling in the relationship that you're building by tapping into your warm connection to introduce you to someone you know who does the exact thing that you already want to do is you are squeezing in what could take months, years, content, thousands of followers to build know, like, and trust. And you're squeezing that into one 20-minute introduction. The thing that takes your mother-in-law 20 minutes to email this person that she hired last spring to redo her pantry and to connect you to. That you are squeezing in what takes so long to build that relationship, and you're making it happen almost instantly. So this person who's super busy is now having an introduction from a past client that she probably loved, or someone she goes to church with, or whatever that relationship is. They do not have to be a past client. And that relationship now already exists with you, this brand new person they've never heard of.
Okay. All right. So that helped. So I'm ready now. So I've requested the meeting, and now what do I do?
Right. Okay. So you're going to come to the meeting prepared to negotiate is maybe the wrong word. Prepared
to propose an amazing solution to take off things from this person who's way too busy, take things off of her plate.
So you're trying to solve a problem for them, right? They're a busy organizer who is, the phone is a ringing, their email is a dinging. They can't handle it. Like, there's too many clients. They're at a crossroads where they either need to hire a staff to help them to fulfill, or they need to start saying no. And they really don't want to say no because they're a lot like you and they like money, right?
And control and process and all of the things.
So what you're going to do is you're going to offer to pay for quality leads. And before you go saying no, you're only paying for people that book, okay? So the goal in this conversation is you're going to go in, clearly you're going to get to know them. You're going to spend 80, maybe 90% of the time talking about them. Now, we're not trying to get secret information on how they operate their business.
You're not picking their brain.
Oh, I hate that phrase.
Of that. You're literally getting to know the person. What do they like to do? What do they do outside of work? What do their kids like? What does their husband do?
And what's your goal of your business? How are things going right now?
This is you're trying to make a friend, okay? This is
do you remember what friends are?
basic relationship stuff. If you get stuck, look up a game of 21 questions, the same concept. You just got to keep them talking. What you're going to do through this process is you're going to learn a lot about them. You're going to learn what makes them tick, but you're also going to figure out where the holes are. You're going to figure out where they get stressed out, what makes them overwhelmed, what drags them down. This is basic.
Yeah. What type of projects are they hating, but they're saying yes to still? What type of things does it seem like their heart wants to be led to, but they don't have time to go do that thing because they're doing these over here?
So by the end of the meeting, the trust is blowing up. They already had it to begin with, but you just solidified it in the conversation where you were a real person and you weren't trying to take things away from them, right? And you're going to say, you know what, I'm getting started. Here's what I would love to do. Here, talk about the kind of clients you want to work with. Talk about the kind of business you want to run. And they're not going to be surprised that it sounds a lot like theirs, right? But then offer a solution. Say, I know you're busy. I know you're getting projects sent over to you that you simply don't have time for. And I want to offer a solution. I am willing, if you are willing, to take on projects and pay you for them. So a client comes to you, you don't have time, you say, you know what, I do know someone that could do this for you and they would be a great fit. Let me check their schedule. That this person that you're talking to would then call or email you, see if you have room. And if it's a yes, they would make a warm connection. You only pay this person when that person pays you. And the goal would be to like make it something that is worth their time sending the lead over for. So when I did this, PS, I didn't just say all this BS to you. Like, this is an actual strategy I used in my business. I got booked out and replaced my corporate income using this strategy. I worked with a local designer who was too busy. She sent me leads, no joke, almost every day.
Wow.
I, in fact, had to turn down some clients because I got booked out so fast. But what I did was, for that first initial project, I paid her a finder's fee. I paid her 20% of the overall project with a cap. So we decided a cap. And for you, it's going to be different than what it's for me. But for me, a reasonable cap was I'm going to pay her no more than $500 of the project.
And
okay.
This is just the first initial project.
Yeah. So once you do one project with them, they're now your client and you no longer owe her anything. But for that warm connection and that warm lead, you are paying her a finder's fee.
Yep.
And heck, she can feel less stressed because now all of a sudden she doesn't have to say no. In fact, she's making money on projects she's not even doing anymore. And that's going to make her real happy.
It's a win. Yeah. It's a win-win-win-win-win situation for everyone because she gets stuff off of her plate, enables her to say yes to projects she actually wants to do. She gets paid 20% for the relationships that she has spent time building for customers that are reaching out to her because she's a trusted source. She's getting paid for that because that's worth money. She's getting to continue her like relationships within the community. And if she wants to say yes to these any of these projects, she absolutely can. But she's also getting to simmer a little bit in a stage of business that's scary for a lot of people, where she's put off hiring, she's put off outsourcing, she's put off a lot of these things because that frankly opens up a whole new can of worms in business. You guys who have done this before know this, right? You've either hired a VA or, oh my gosh, an employee to actually come in and help you do these projects. And that's really scary and that's really time consuming for her to do. So you've answered and checked off a lot of her needs just with this simple relationship. And now your clients are booked. Congratulations.
Okay. I love this. And okay, speak to this too, because we can see all the benefits, and that definitely helps make this, more established organizer much more approachable when you realize like she is having these issues, but she's not really ready to grow to that next step. Maybe like you said, of hiring a permanent employee, that kind of thing. And I know a lot of my students out there are those organizers who have really more leads than they can potentially deal with. So talk to me too then about the type of person who, because I got a lot of, I love them all 100%. I got a lot of introverts out there, and they're, I think they're struggling in that space of being new. They just want to organize. They want to be great at the things that they're great at. However, the idea of having to do their own marketing is, first of all, it can be a completely new language. And second of all, it can be very scary. So talk to me about how this saves time and money on marketing and advertising.
Well, here's the cool thing. It costs $0 to do. So like literally $0. It's free. It only costs your time. And if you do it right, you only have to do it once. Truly. This is something that you should only have to do once because you will be booked out. I don't think as a fellow introvert, there is no dreamier scenario to me sitting at home and getting emails of a potential client. Oh, and here's another one. Oh, and here's another one. Oh, and here's another one. And they're good leads because they originally went to an established business. That is truly a dream scenario. So if you can just for 1 second put on like a little bit of an extroverted bow and have coffee with one human being once, I'm telling you, if you do this right and set this relationship up the proper way the first time, you get to sit at home for the rest of your life.
I love that.
Until you're doing organizing stuff and actually doing the work.
So it's like the go big and stay home strategy.
Yeah, 100%. Because where the follow-up, the second part of this referral system comes into play. You've done this to get your initial clients, right? You're now getting booked out. You're now having to say no. But what's going to happen, and this is just what's going to happen, you're going to get clients that maybe you don't really want to work with. She's saying no to them. So they're not maybe top A clients, right? Maybe it's not the type of project you wanted to get. They're paying though, and they're getting you experience, and they're building your business, and they're building your relationships. So they're serving you a big purpose. But sometimes a month in, 2 months in, 3 months in, you're going to wake up and be like, oh man, I really don't want to work with these type of people anymore. I really thought I would like to organize pantries, but I really just like doing capsule wardrobes, or I really just like doing garage, or whatever it is, right? You start to identify more of your skill set and what you like to do and who you like to work with. So how do you get more of those people, right? If she's just going to be sending you B-level clients, how do you up-level your own client roster? So my method that I use is this VIP referral system, right? So you take a look at your past 5 or 6 clients, however many you've had, maybe all year, right? Everyone you've worked with ever. Who was your absolute favorite? Who paid on time? Who was easy breezy in their communication? Whose project like gave you the amazing testimonial and it fueled you up and it didn't maybe exhaust you as much as the other ones did? And I want you to reach out to that person. And I want you to just check in with them. Again, if this is that relationship building, be a human. Don't seek something, just serve, right? So you're reaching out to them. You're either sending this in an email. I would prefer you to go have coffee with them. You could also just pick up the phone if you're wanting to just stay home. But I want you to truly check in on them. And this is, again, an exact way that I used to build up my VIP clients when I was a photographer. So I would have a session that I shot maybe a year ago or last season. It's the same thing for you. And you check in with them and say, how's that closet looking? How's that pantry looking? Like, A, is there anything I can do for you? Because it's been a couple months since I've seen you and I miss you. And I thought about those labels we were going to order, but we never did. So did you find a solution for this thing over here? Truly, like, seek to serve, right? And so they're going to get chatting with you and you're going to realize, oh, I do love this client. I miss talking to this client. And then you're going to offer them something amazing. As a photographer, I would have a payment structure, and this is going to be different for you guys because I'm not exactly sure how you're setting up your packages or how you're getting paid or whatnot. But as a photographer, I would have a session fee, right? So you have a $200 session fee just to get on my books and for me to come to that park and take pictures of your family. But I didn't make money from the session fee. I made money on the back end. I made money in the selling session where you bought canvases and you bought CDs and you bought albums and you bought all of this collateral, right? So whatever version of that looks like for you and for this particular type of business. Maybe there's a consult fee and then there's the like extra accessories that you can help them buy and situate inside of their home, right? So whatever that is, there's a front end money and there's a back end money. And I want you to be willing to lose money on the front end to make more money on the back end. So what you're going to offer this VIP client is an inexpensive or a free front end. You're going to waive your consultation fee. You're going to give them a free audit. You're going to give them something that really only costs your time, but you're not really losing a lot of money on. You're only going to offer that if she can refer you to 5, 3, 7, pick whatever number you feel comfortable with, VIP clients who are just like her, because if one VIP client's amazing, she knows other VIP clients, and you need in her inner circle. And you're only going to reward her with the thing that you want to offer when one of those books, or when 3 of them book, or 5 of them book. You get to make up the rules. I situated this a little bit differently as I needed and grew my VIP client base. The first time I offered it, I said, I'm just going to waive your session fee if you just refer me to 5 of your friends. Okay, now I'm going to waive your session fee if you refer me to 5 of your friends and one of them books. And then like that started just work so well that as I would offer it, all of them would have to book, or they would have to book a certain high-end package or whatever it is. So depending on how your business is set up and depending on like how quickly this ball starts rolling for you, you can fluctuate the reward and the giving. But the idea is at the end of it, you're identifying those VIP clients to get more of them.
So for a professional organizer, the first thing that came to mind is for that freebie kind of front end is, especially if it's somebody who you've worked with and it's been a few months or even a whole year, offering a free maintenance or refresh session where you come in and sort of you blitz like all the spaces that you worked on and even, offer to sort of evaluate how it's going. But that is always a potential opportunity to upsell your client into having them re-sign for another new package, or even to sell them on an ongoing maintenance package once they realize like, oh, it's so nice to have you come in, like now that it's been 3 or 4 months and I got that free maintenance session. It's like, hey, because that's the hardest part of getting organized is staying organized.
Yeah.
And the smart organizer and the savvy organizer realizes this. And while they certainly don't want to, create a complete dependency on them, having that recurring revenue through a maintenance session is brilliant. And so offering that free maintenance session as the freebie for, referring to 5 VIP clients is strategic and brilliant. And I love it.
Well, and I want to break down, I also made money from offering that free session. Literally none of this was free, because what happens is, okay, sure, I'll take your pictures for free all day long. That's not where I make my money. I would still have a viewing session for them. So whatever this looks like for you guys, right? So I would say, hey, VIP client from the past, refer me to 5 of your friends. When one of them books, I'll give you a free session. Okay, a month later, hey, your friend from church booked. I would love to shoot you guys this spring. Like, let's get something on the calendar. So the family comes out, I take all their pictures, I edit them like I normally do. I do the whole front end process. Hey, I have your pictures ready from spring. I'm coming over to do our viewing session. We come over and guess what? You guys want some canvases now? You want an iPhone case? You want all of these things. Yeah. So I'm making thousands of dollars on the back end just by rewarding you with a free session on the front end.
Yeah. And so that's exactly what she was talking about, what Jen was talking about with the rewarding them with that maintenance package. Okay, you're coming in, but really it's so you get your foot back in the door.
Absolutely.
And you're like, oh girl, I walked past that office and we need to tackle that next.
Yeah. And you're way, way more likely to get an existing client to pay you again than you are to get a new one. And so one, if they can get you super quality leads and you're able to use that to get booked, solid. Yep. But you're way more likely to be able to go back to your old clients and reserve them. I think so often we serve
one and done
and forget it. And we're like, oh, that was good, but never again. I'm like, I made the majority of my money by working with the same people over and over again. And their mama and their sister and their cousin.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. And really the smart clients out there, they kind of know themselves enough to know that it's been amazing. It's like a spring clean refresh of their entire life, but they know themselves and that is not their skill set and it's not their strength. And they would rather have an organizer that they trust to come into their home and touch their things. Like you can't have just anybody come do that. So when you get back in the door, like Abagail was saying, like having that free maintenance session, getting back in the door, it's almost like an opportunity to follow up with a past client, but it's almost like a brand new consultation where you're like,
100%.
Talk to me. Like, how's life working? What else is going on? What else? Always. This is like the magic question. And no client ever is going to be like, nope, just the office. Can't look at anything else in my house. They want to show you everything in their house. They want to show and tell.
Every service-based person, I swear to you, clients are like, you just got to open the lid because they have other things inside, whether it's in the back of their head or that thing that's 2 months from now. And they don't think about timelines because what client thinks about timelines?
No.
They're like, oh yeah, I also wanted to do this other thing. I just forgot to mention it.
100%. Yeah. So I think to kind of wrap up the idea of utilizing these 2 methods, if you do not have existing clients consistently coming through the door, do Abby's method first. Go find that person. Heck, if the only thing you accomplish from that is building an amazing relationship with someone else in your market, like that, you're still winning. Okay. Getting your foot in the door by knowing other people who have a business like you want to have is still winning. So start there first if you're needing a constant flow of clients. If you've already gotten them and you've worked with someone who you're like, oh my gosh, if I could work with 50 more of her, that would be a dream. Establish this part 2, right? Create a good referral system, decide what you can give away for free in order to make money on the back end, and send a simple email, text, call, whatever it is that your clients like hearing from you to start kind of those reintroducing conversations.
Okay. So tell me more now about the organizer who has started out by building a business with referrals. By the way, does she only have to do this with one other organizer, or could she potentially have like 3 or 4 different organizing businesses that are flowing leads to her?
Well,
100%.
potentially, yeah. Like I did this with one other designer, but I also ended up finding other people that were maybe wanting to not necessarily bring on employees, but like bring on contractors for other jobs. So you might be able to come in and like in the same way that Emylee might have a second shooter for an event, I could come in as like this backup designer. You could come in as a second, I don't know what a second organizer is, but
For sure.
like depending on how big the project is,
Yeah.
you could also offer that, and that's more of like a contract basis and not necessarily referrals.
But what that does for you, Abby got to work with businesses like Coca-Cola. So now forever and always, she gets to put on her resume or website or whatever she wants to utilize, I worked with Coca-Cola. She gets to use their logo. She gets to say that she did that because she was a contractor for a company that made work for them. And so if you're wanting to like, if you're in a city or a town or whatever that has like a well-known organization business or a magazine that's doing this for a shoot or like whatever it might be, right? Just for like sexy status, you could do that as well, but get paid.
Yeah, for sure. So I think 100% you could do it with one person, and depending on, it's all dependent on how many leads they get. Like if they're crazy busy and that phone is always ringing, quite possibly
one is enough. Yeah.
But if not, like rinse and repeat. Like the process is identical. You just find someone who you already know, who knows them, get a warm introduction and take it from there. But I think the myth is that like, you have to do so many things in order to get booked out. And really what it is you have to provide a quality service for people and make yourself easily referable. I think so often we think it's complicated, and it's not. Like you don't necessarily need a gorgeous Instagram. You need your client to love what you do and talk about it in the pickup line. That's all you need.
Well, and I call things like Instagram or an email list or a blog or truly even a website phase 2 of business. I think so many of us think of that as phase 0, right? That I need this before I even start a business. I have to have 7 blog posts writing about seasonal wardrobe organization things, and then make this really pretty, and then stage photos in my friend's house so I have a portfolio, and then go work with some people for free so I have experience. And then, you know, you go down the rabbit hole of everything you need. I need to set up my Instagram account. I need to make sure I get this domain. And if I don't get the exact domain that I want, then I can't start my business yet. And there's like all of these things, right? Based out of fear, out of time, out of the pressure that we put on ourselves because we think that we're going to fail if we don't have these things. When truly none of them. I didn't have a website when I was starting working with VIP clients, not one website. I built relationships. What we're talking about is relationship business building. You could do this for 30 days and then build a website. You could do it for 6 months. You could do it for a year. I don't care. I want you to have this step done first. I want you to have consistent paying clients first before you add on the sprinkles.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that's all accessories. It's all like making it pretty and making it fun, and mostly it's for you and not really for anyone else. So you need to get over it and just stop worrying about it, because like truly, I think of the most successful businesses, and they all started with quality relationships. And if we were to just like forget technology existed for like half a second, the way businesses are built and the way they were built even 10, 20 years ago was relationships. The best ones today, I guarantee you, if you were to like really look around, I'm convinced everyone in your industry that's like popping knows each other. It's the same in every industry. You could go big box, you could go Fortune 500, guarantee you the CEOs are like sleeping with each other. Like basically, like it's the same concept. Like everyone knows each other. It's relationships, guys. And we make it out to be this super complicated thing when really it's like get to know people, get to know the right people, like do solid work, do quality work. Ask for what you need. Like it'd be great. I mean, I've seen a lot of you go out and work for someone, do like the most banging job ever, and just walk away, never talk to the person again, never once mention, you know what? I have an opening a couple months from now, and I would love if you could send me some quality referrals. You just asking opens the door. I guarantee people don't think about you. People think about themselves all of the time. But that doesn't mean they're not willing to help. It doesn't mean they're not willing to give back. It doesn't mean they're not willing to do something. But people are like in their own world, thinking about their own things. And unless you interrupt their behavior and say, I'd love if you do this thing for me. And like, obviously the reward system makes it a little more incentivized. But even without it, you can ask for testimonials. You can ask for them to recommend you. They will do things if you just ask.
It's perfectly in line with everything that I teach. When I started my organizing business, and by the way, you guys can probably guess, a lot of professional organizers are extremely perfectionistic. And so they get stuck in the research mode I'm not kidding you. I've talked to people who've been researching starting a business for years because they feel like they have to have every little box checked off before they ever even present themselves as someone who could get hired.
Should I charge $250 for this pantry redesign or like $500? And then I could add on this.
I know.
I urge you to be a quick start. Like,
for sure.
It doesn't have to be perfect, but like, what is the bare minimum? We talk about like the most viable product, but like, what is the quickest thing you can do to bring in cash the fastest? Like, we're not talking about selling your kidney, but like, come on.
Right.
Can you go email all your girlfriends from college and ask them if you can set up a capsule spring wardrobe for them? Like, literally. Like, what is the thing that you're doing that you can just be like, this is what I can offer, and then go do it?
And you guys have the benefit because a lot of us out here, like, we don't necessarily know. We know our clients like through like the grapevine, but it's not always obvious. And I feel like y'all have your friends and family hire you. Like, why not?
Right. Like, no one in my family needed like a website back when we were offering.
That's
you
a little different.
Like,
but like, everyone needs their garage organized.
Everybody needs something. No, you're right. You're right. So yeah. So when I started, I was so kind of panicked about my image and everything that everything I would post on social media, I would delete anyway, like a few days later. And so I tell people, and that became part of my story, is you do not have to be perfect to get started, because once I realized that that wasn't even getting me clients anyway, and I was still getting clients based on relationship skills and in-person sales skills, that is what I, really built my entire business model around. And now, it's exactly that. Like, lots of my students get clients on Instagram, but I teach people all the time that doesn't have to be the route that you go if you're more of a one-on-one person and not digital.
Yeah, I think it can kill not kill you, but like, I think in some ways it can deter clients that like seek for perfectionism. Like, if you're trying to make your feed like the home edit and make everything look like this $1 million closet, like, your girlfriend
don't have that.
Your girlfriend is going to be like, I can't afford you. I can't afford what you do. That is not like the world I live in. But if you're showing like a regular linen closet that is 2 feet wide, not deep enough, and shit's falling out of it, and then in the next picture, it's organized. It doesn't even have to have great lighting. I'm still like, sign me up, right?
I think like if we begin to look at this collateral, specifically Instagram, but anything else you want to tack on for business, including your website, as the thing that supports an existing business. I think right now, so like I was talking about earlier, where we use it as that phase 0, that like, nope, it has to be started first, and it has to be perfect first, and then I can get clients. Girl, you don't have a business until you have clients that are paying you.
That's right.
You don't have a business just if you have Instagram. You don't have a business if you just have a website. Like, none of that matters until you have paying clients. And I would rather you have consistent paying clients before you start worrying about that stuff. So many of us like let the pressure of like, oh, I didn't post on Instagram today, and I didn't send this email, and I didn't do this, when we're not even at a point where that stuff is actually driving clients. It's supporting our business. It's showing our work. Sure, it's a visual workspace that we're in, right? And I get that. And there's an argument for having it and for caring about it. But I don't want you to do that until there's paying money coming in the door.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Any last tips you guys want to share and tell us too more about this referrals?
Yeah. So I don't necessarily have any last tips other than to, like, stop getting like in your own way. You just need to do the thing. I think people use being an introvert as an excuse. Like, let's look up the definition of what an introvert is. An introvert means you are drained by people, but that doesn't mean you can't be excited to talk to someone or that you can't have a great conversation. And it doesn't even necessarily imply that you're shy. So, like, just get out and be yourself. Like, quit trying to be anyone else. Quit trying to, like, strive for perfectionism. Start. And then I definitely think we can help you. Like, we have a lot of things going on over in our corner and a lot of content specifically for service-based businesses. So if you haven't listened to our podcast, definitely check it out at the Strategy Hour. And we do have a new Facebook group, but at the moment, unfortunately, it's exclusive to photographers, designers, and copywriters. But if that happens to be you by chance, you're welcome to go there at bossproject.com/booked. But if not, we do have a bigger group that you are more than welcome in with thousands of creative business owners who are doing things just like you. And you can go to bossproject.com/community for that.
For all the professional organizers listening out there, even the ones who have been in business for a while, but still haven't gotten their mind wrapped around the whole referrals thing and what, like, building your business offline. It's like a dream come true. It really is. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining me on the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. And tell them too where they can find you just in general. So it's bossproject.com.
And you can find us on Instagram at Boss Project. That's where we hang out the most. So be sure to check out our stories for anything behind the scenes. We have a blog archive of over 300 blog posts and new ones that have just recently started coming out that are meaty and juicy and incredible. We have one that came out a couple weeks ago, how to 30x your next client spend. So if that seems interesting to you, definitely head to bossproject.com/blog. You can read up all about it. Abby mentioned our podcast. We're in all the places. We're over on YouTube at Boss Project. So just hang out.
You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us today. I really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you around next time.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Organizer Studio podcast. If you'd like to learn more about time-saving services and resources for professional organizers, visit www.proorganizerstudio.com. And if you'd like to get Jen's roadmap to success for launching and growing your professional organizing business, go straight to www.poroadmap.com.